Welcome back. Now we are going to look at resource controllers. And resource controllers allow you to perform CRUD operation. And CRUD is an acronym that stands for create, read, update, and delete. So once we create that resource controller, it will have all the methods for each of the resource operations. So let's see how this is done. So on the terminal, let's create that resource controller. But first, let's see the option you can use when creating a controller. So we're going to run PHP artisan, make controller, and then -- help. So here you'll see we have description, create a new controller class, usage, and then you can also use these options that we have here. So if you flag it with -m or -- model and then the name of the model, it will generate a resource controller for a given model. If you flag it with -r or -- resource, it will generate a resource controller class. If you flag it with -i or -- invocable, it will generate a single method invocable controller class. You can also flag it with -p, which will generate a nested resource controller. So for now, we are only interested in this one, that is resource controller. So let's run PHP artisan, that is make controller, and then the name of the controller, I'm going to call it dashboard controller. And then I'm going to flag it with this -r, or alternatively you can also use -- resource. So controller created successfully. Let's go to that file. So if you look at this file, you'll see it has all the methods for the resource operations. That is, it can be able now to perform the CRUD operation. We have the first method, which is the index method, which will display a listing of the resource. We have the create method, which will show the form for creating a new resource. We have the store method, which will store a newly created resource in storage. We have the show method, which will display the specified resource. We have the edit method, which will show the form for editing the specified resource. We have the update method, which will update the specified resource in storage. And finally, we have the destroy, which will remove or delete the specified resource from storage. So the next step now is to register this resource controller on the routes. So let's go to the routes file. So before we register, let's first see all the registered routes that we have. So on the command prompt, I'm going to run PHP artisan route list. So here you'll see all the registered routes that we have, and currently we don't have any route which will use the resource. So let's register. So the first is to put the comment. And then route. So this route will use the resource. That is a resource route. And then I'm going to put them under one URL collection called dashboard. So that's it. Make sure you save. So with this single declaration that we have done here on the routes file, Laravel will automatically generate or create multiple routes to handle a variety of actions on the resource. So to confirm that, we need now to go back to the command prompt and run again PHP artisan route list and check. So if you look at this list, you'll see here we have new routes which have been registered automatically by Laravel once we registered that resource controller. So from here we have around 8 RESTful routes that have been added, which will handle a variety of action on this resource. So starting from here, we have this dashboard.store, that is the route name. That one will be used for storing, which is going to use the post method. We have the dashboard.index, which will display a listing of the resource, which is going to use the get method. We have the dashboard.create, which will display a form to create a new resource, which is going to use the get method. We have dashboard.destroy, which will use the delete method. We have dashboard.update, which will use the put or patch method to update that resource. We also have the show method. This one is dashboard.show, which will use the get method for showing the specified resource. And finally, we have the dashboard.edit, which will be using the get method. That one will be used for editing the specified resource. So with that, we need to create around 4 views. That is the index view, which will display a listing of the resource. We're also going to create a new view called create that will show the form for creating a new resource. We are also going to create another view called show, which will display the specified resource, and also the edit view, which will show the form for editing the specified resource. But that one, we're going to do it in the next lecture.